Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Frost and this is Lightning Arrow map clearing build that has pretty high damage, okay defensive stats, that is not very good at pinnacle boss farming but still can tackle a bunch of them, and it is very good for power speed farming maps, delirious maps, tier 16 maps, just your regular cool stuff, and that you can build afterwards in MF or just in a Zoom version with Mage Blood and stuff like that. It doesn't have anything like that. So this character is based on a day 5 character from Crucible League that has some pricey items on it, but they are not as crucial for the build. You can play without them. You can build your character from the scratch and league start with it, and then apply all those powerful items to your build whenever you're playing it already on the go. So yeah, it is in Crystallized Omniscience and High-Risk Ire, which are quite pricey here. Otherwise, it doesn't really require you anything. It's built specifically with Omniscience in mind, but without it you just don't need to stack as much attributes, and you need to get just a bit more resistances. You wouldn't be able to have such a high penetration values, but you will still be just okay farming your maps without it as well. So yeah, let's go and let's see at the character. We do have some pretty good single target damage here with our lightning arrow. This is a lightning arrow setup with barrage, and it's a vol lightning arrow which will deal a bunch of single target damage. And then we have our second lightning arrow setup with Mirage Archer that is built more for your just regular AoE map clearing. Otherwise, we are using a couple of arrows, just regular stuff. I guess we'll go for our Ascendancy talent tree, jewels, then skills, then items in this order. So yeah, with our Ascendancy, we are taking Ricochet, we're taking Endless Munitions, we're taking Gathering Winds, and we're taking Focal Point. Then when it comes to our stats that we are looking for on the talent tree, we are going for some movement speed. Definitely we are taking as much spell suppression as possible, mana reservation efficiency, crit strike chance, crit strike multiplier, elemental damage, damage with bows, crit strike chance with bows, crit strike multiplier and stuff like that. Additional arrows are very good talents for us, so Master Fletcher and Multi-Shot are particularly very important for us. And then we're finishing off everything with some additional spell suppression, with some accuracy, and then our unique jewels are coming to play. So first of them, as you can see here, it's Lionized Fall. It's quite pricey. It's quite a pricey item, but you don't really need it. When you don't have your Thread of Hope, you probably need to you need to invest more and put talent points into getting your multi-shot, into getting your Master Fletcher. You can get some additional goodies here with Primeval Force, so you will be way shorter on your talent points and with less levels as well, which means that without Lionized Fall you will not really feel that you're missing out so much damage here, because you wouldn't really be able to spend so much points on that. And yeah, so we have 3 more pricey jewels. One of them is Thread of Hope, which allows you to get your talents without taking any talents that are on the path to them. We need Thread of Hope to be only affects passives in a large ring, and it's just ideal for us in this place. It gives us access to a bunch of very powerful big nodes. Then we are using our Watcher's Eye that gives us additional crit multi while affected by anger. It gives us additional fizz damage from hits taken as cold damage while affected by Purity of Elements, and we use both those auras. And then we are using Lionized Fall, which converts melee and melee weapon type modifiers to bow modifiers instead. This way, these modifiers that are good for daggers will give us instead crit strike chance and multiplier for bows, and here we will have some additional attack speed and damage for bows again. Yeah, so these two, they work in combination pretty good. A Thread of Hope gives us a bunch of talent points, and we can spend them on these additional damage increases. Then when it comes to our skills, I hope that I didn't really forget about anything. Yeah, when it comes to our skills, you do see our setup for single targets. So it's Vol, Lightning Arrow, increased crit damage, Inspiration, ally damage with attacks, Barrage, and added cold damage. Then with our regular one for clearing, we use Lightning Arrow, Mirage Archer, Trinity, ally damage with attacks, increased critical damage, and Inspiration. As our main curse, we are using Sniper's Mark with Mark on Hit, Anger as our damage aura, and then Purity of Elements we're using as defensive auras. Aura, it gives us elemental immunity to elemental ailments, which is very handy, and it gives us some additional resistances. Then we're using Flame Dash, and we are using Blink Arrow as our mobility skills. You don't really need to spam them too much while you're clearing maps, because we do have a quite high movement speed modifier. But still, for dodges and for just quickly traversing through the maps, they are quite handy. We are using Berserk because we do have Rage Regeneration, and Berserk is a powerful cooldown. We do use Steel Skin as our guard skill. And then on top of that, Precision, level 4, just gives us a bit of crit strike chance and some accuracy. Mana Forge arrows with Frenzy and Power Charge and Crit will give you generation of both Power Charges and Frenzy Charges just whenever you're using your regular skills. And that's it when it comes to, your skills. Then with our items, so how are we generating or regenerating our rage? We are using combination of helmet and gloves, Wolf's Vision, and Chaos Spirit. Chaos Spirit gives us, it replaces our life regeneration it replaces it to rage regeneration, and then our Wolf's Vision gives us a bunch of flat life regeneration. So this way we will have this pretty good rage regen that will give us infinite amount of rage to spend and to have passively on. Then with our main weapon, we are using Spine Bow. Spine Bows are very good. They have high crit strike base chance. We are looking for highest elemental DPS as possible. Then we are looking for local increase to critical strike chance and attack speed. That's it. With our quiver, we're looking for bow attacks, fire an additional arrow, crit strike multiplier, then crit strike chance, some flat cold damage, and some increased damage with life. Then when it comes to our unique body armor, you don't really need this item because it's quite expensive, especially with 6 link, but it's still a very powerful one. It gives you just big number for chance to suppress spell damage. It gives us dexterity, which is very useful for us getting more stats, more attributes to get all the omniscience that we need. Then it gives you a bunch of evasion rating and some flat cold damage to bow attacks as well. A very big number of flat cold damage. With our boots, we're just using boots that give you a bunch of stats, that give you a bunch of attributes, strength, dexterity, intelligence, maximum life, highest roll for movement speed, and some chaos res or anything else that you need. So now crystallized omniscience. What it gives you, the unique thing that crystallized omniscience gives you is elemental penetration. And elemental penetration is something that you can't get in this amount on any other items. That's why we're getting it. That's why we're stacking all the attributes to get the omniscience. And on top of that, it gives us not only penetration, but just resistances, and omniscience fulfills our attribute requirements by some percentage of it, which means that you just need to find big chunks of any attributes on your items for your gear to work, for your gear to have, for you to have enough omniscience to be able to use your gear and your gems and have very high numbers of elemental penetration. Then with our rings, we are using, as you can see here, it gives us just enormous amounts of dexterity and intelligence. And here we have strength and dexterity. It doesn't really matter. We see here some additional accuracy, some additional life, and non-channeling skills have minus to total mana cost, which will be very handy with this inspiration. Your skills wouldn't really cost that much. We still have 14% unreserved mana left for us to be able to spend it and not to use life tap. Yeah, so these are our rings. Then with our belt, we have just a regular belt with, again, enormous amounts of attributes. Probably you're using your catalysts for that are attribute related on your jewelry. Then we see here some life, some increased elemental damage with attacks. When it comes to our flasks, we are using Divine Life Flask with immunity to bleeding and corrupted blood. We are using Quicksilver Flask. We are using Silver Flask that gives us Onslaught, Diamond Flask for higher crit strike chance, and Jade Flask for evasion rating. Then with mods on our flask, we are looking for attack speed, movement speed, increase of evasion rating, and crit strike chance as well. Or as you can see here, we do have 2 movement speed increases. Yeah, you can't really get ideal gear from the from the get-go on day 5. So yeah, that's when it comes to your build for Lightning Arrow. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You can use it without Omniscience. It will just have less penetration, which means that your higher level content will be straight up harder for you, but you don't really need as much elemental penetration on lower tier maps, and you can farm your currency quite fast, quite efficient with this build. And last thing, we are anointing Vengeance Cascade, which is the talent of this league. Here it is. It gives you an ability for your projectiles to return to you, and they are pierce all targets while they're returning. So you're basically dealing double damage with your regular skills. So yeah, that's it when it comes to this build guide. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good time, and goodbye.